And we're live.
Hello. Hello, everybody. Nice to see you.
Hi.
Hope everybody's well.
Hi.
We're stuck inside, so I don't know if you're watching this, having a beer or not. You're lucky monkey, if you are. So, basically, tonight, I think we've covered this before. I've got deja vu. I'm not sure.
Well done.
Yeah, it's all right. It had to be done, didn't it?
The lad's on fire.
It had to be done. The show can only get better from here. So we are missing Carl this week. He's got other plans. He's had to dash off, but he should be back with us next week. So if he does watch, then hello, Carl. So anyway, we've got the normal crew, and so yeah, basically, on a more serious note, we're going to talk a little bit tonight about deja vu. Have we been here before? Astral traveling, anything like that, anything that takes our fancy. So if anybody wants to comment and sort of like messages, then we will sort of like interlink with that and perhaps interject with yourselves. So anyway, without further ado, I think just talking backstage, Christina's actually got an interesting story to start us off with, a dream which she had.
I do.
I'll hand the floor over to you, Christina. Away you go, really.
Thank you. It's quite a significant dream, actually, and it links in really with our dreams actually guiding us, and are some dreams more significant than others. I actually had one last February, and it was a really scary dream, and it was one I couldn't shake. And the dream was that I was going to get cancer. But the time scale in the dream was 5 years in the future, but someone was talking to me in the present saying, you will get it in 5 years. And they said it was breast cancer. This dream, I don't generally always, if ever, remember dreams. Only a few snippets, only the special ones. So this one stuck out in my mind. It scared me like it would anybody having that dream. It would absolutely scare the pants off you. Yeah. It absolutely did. And I took advice from people. I asked everyone that, was even slightly spiritual what they thought it meant, because it scared me like it would absolutely anybody. And then I was just told, don't worry about it, just keep checking yourself, because obviously in the dream it was breast cancer, so it was, keep checking yourself. And I did have this slight paranoia at the time about it, I'm not going to lie, because the dream was very vivid. Yeah. The woman that was talking to me, I didn't even know her. It was just a random woman that I've never met before in my life talking to me, saying that she felt sorry for me because I'd had to have everything taken away, which is quite funny. Yeah. Then after a while, the dream never left. The dream was always there, but I learned sort of just put it to the back of my mind, as we generally do with anything that worries us. And then last December, just on the 20th of December last year, just before Christmas, I'd had a few issues. I'd been going to the women's unit from the June and having colposcopies and biopsies on the cervix, sort of coinciding all the way up until December. And then I got a call on the 19th of December in the evening from the women's unit saying, we'd like you to come in to see us tomorrow. And I thought, I know what this is. You don't get a call back for the next day unless it's something serious. So I phoned up and I said, is it cancer? Obviously, she wouldn't tell me. She's just come in tomorrow. And obviously, I went in the following day and I was diagnosed with cervical cancer, literally the following day. Now, looking back, now, I mean, in retrospect, I was fine. I had all the tests. It was stage 1. It was very early on. They caught it very early on.
I was lucky.
I had all the checks. The MRIs extremely. It not spread anywhere. And they just said to me, if it's not spread, we're just going to have to give you a radical hysterectomy, get rid of everything surrounding it, and then you can go on with your life. But obviously for a while I wasn't sure whether that was going to be the case. But it was. I was really lucky. So 25th of January this year, I literally had, everything taken. So, and, they said to me, "You've got your children, you don't want any more." And I was like, "Well, at the age I am, not really." And I've got 4 anyway, so that's absolutely fine. But I always had the faith that I was going to be fine. I always knew I was going to be fine. I never doubted that I was going to be fine. In actual fact, when people used to say to me, "Oh, you've got cancer," because I didn't tell anybody, I didn't even put it on Facebook, I didn't tell anyone, only my immediate family. And whenever anyone used to talk about it, I used to say, "I haven't got cancer, I've just got something that needs to be taken away," because that was my positive way of dealing with it, rather than giving it a scary word. It was, my oldest used to say to me, "Mum, you're going to make people think you're lying about it because you don't call it cancer." And I went, "No, because the way I see it is, it's just something that's got to get taken away." And they did. All clear afterwards, can't come back, job's a good one. In reflection now, in that dream, I was told I had cancer, but it was breast cancer and not cervical cancer. I believe they swapped it round, so from the June up until the December, when I was having different tests and procedures and bits of my cervix taken away, I wouldn't put 2 and 2 together and get scared. They wanted to warn me, but also stop me from being overly worried the whole time, whole process from the June all the way up to the December, which is why they told me it was a different form. And obviously, it wasn't that, but a different area, but I did have to have everything taken away. So it was almost like, and also the reason they told me it was 5 years in the future was probably to stop me from worrying about the immediate that was coming. It was enough to let me in to know it was going to happen, but not as much that would scare the bejesus out of me, so to speak. Ruin my life for that whole 6 months leading up to it. So I do believe that was a warning dream that was just telling me, you know what, you've got something big coming. But they didn't want to worry me too much, so they just gave me enough that it was in my head. And maybe that's what helped me deal with it as well as I did at the time, because it didn't I wasn't shocked. I just thought, I know what this is. As soon as that phone call came, I thought, I know. And, I got on with it, I sorted it, I kept myself positive, still had the Christmas like I planned, still had a New Year's party, got dressed up like I planned, got tanked up like I would normally at New Year, did everything as normal, carried on as normal. I didn't let it affect me. And I do believe it's because I got that warning beforehand, so it wasn't a great big shock.
Wow.
That's a wonderful story.
Thank you.
And also, congratulations.
Exactly.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, yeah. It's all good now. To be fair, it sounds weird, but I'm fitter than I was even before, and I feel better. I feel healthier, I am healthier, and in every way I feel more confident, but I also think that something like that in your life makes you evaluate everything. Because I thought, when it was all going off, I thought, I need to go out more, I need to do more, I need to take life and grasp it and get on with it and say what I think and do what I want and not worry about what people think so much. And I think it did have a positive effect on me. But like we were saying last week, the bad things turn into a positive, don't they? They mould us into the person they're going to become. So I can only look at it in a positive light, because I was looked after in the respect that it was quite funny, because I had the one procedure in the August, and they said, "Oh, we'll just take this away and it'll be fine." And then my consultant was going to leave me for 6 months. Now, in 6 months, with the cancer, it wouldn't have been a stage 1. It probably would have been at stage 3 at least. And it would have been a different deal. I probably would have lost my hair and everything. And that's the one thing in the room when I had that consultation that made me cry. Not the fact that I had cancer, but the thought of losing my hair was what made me cry. And I said right from the beginning, I said, I'll have the operation. I'm not losing my hair. And to be fair, I didn't lose my hair. But it was a different doctor that said to my doctor, no, she needs that procedure redoing. It was incomplete. And it was that one that showed up the cancer. So they did look after me.
Yeah. That's true.
I don't mean the doctors. And obviously the doctors looked after me as well, but I meant, from above.
Yeah.
They did look after me.
What I found interesting about that as well, Christina, was the fact it was a continuous dream that you was having. and
It was.
a woman was trying to relay this information to you.
She was.
She
was.
And did you recognise her, or was it just like you just felt that it was a feminine energy that was bringing this
No, I
through?
saw her. I literally saw her.
Wow.
I could describe
Fantastic.
her to you now, but I don't know who she is.
Fantastic.
She was a lady, probably late 40s, early 50s,
Yeah.
early to middle 50s, and she had sort of blondie colour hair to about here, and it's a bit flicky around the face, and she had a slightly round face, and she had a really, not a soft voice, but she had a sarcastic tone to her. It was funny. I can remember everything about her.
Would you understand why I feel as though it was a sister of yours that never made it on the Earth plane?
Oh, most definitely, yeah. I can
feels
take
like
that
a
because
sister link with you, yeah, with this lady.
yeah, it does actually make sense because there's only 4 of us living, but my mum actually had 9 pregnancies.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So it's quite possible. We know I've got a brother in spirit. He died at a few days old, about a week old, but the rest we don't exactly know. But it's quite possibly because I'm the youngest and I'm 45, but my oldest sister is, oh crikey, I think she's 59. If I've got it wrong, I'm ever so sorry if my other sister's watching.
Oh dear.
She's 59. But I've also got a... Oh,
should never mention a lady's
answer.
age.
I know.
Yeah,
I'll try
there'll be
and tell
comments at
myself
the end of the
before
show
to
now, aren't they?
She's
Hate
not.
mail.
I think she is because I know that I've got a sister that's 10 years older than me, so she'd be 55, and I've got one that's 6 years older than me, so she'll be 6, nearly 7. So in the 50s would actually ring true in the timeline of, because I know I was my mum's last one, so in the timeline it probably does work that it could possibly be a sister, and she could possibly have a sarcastic tone to voice, to be fair. Because maybe in my dream, maybe I wasn't listening properly, and that's why she had to be a bit more.
So, when you was experiencing these consultations, did you at any stage have a feeling like, hold on, I've seen this, I've witnessed this before, I can remember that chair being there, or I can remember that? Was it as vivid as that, or? No,
I didn't feel in deja vu within the room or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was, but it was funny. It was, none of it felt awfully new, if you know what I mean. It didn't feel new. I was expecting everything that was said, but that's possibly because I used to work in a hospital, and I used to be around a lot of cancer, like diagnosis and what have you. So maybe it was that made it more familiar. Because once I saw before I even went into the doctor's room, a specialist nurse came down with a navy stripey, and I thought, you're a cancer nurse, I need the signs, you're a cancer nurse for definite. And she came in and she was wearing like Christmas, like baubles around her neck lit up. I'll never forget it. Lovely woman. She really, really was. So it was a surreal experience, but that dream, it was so vivid, it never left. And like I say, I had that last February, and I wasn't diagnosed until the December, but I never forgot it. You know how some dreams you can forget over time? That was one that never left me, and I couldn't. And the crazy thing was, now this is going to sound weird and it might be too much information, but I can remember the day before I had the phone call from the hospital, so 2 days before the actual diagnosis of cancer, I can remember checking my boobs because I still had that tiny bit of like that dream, that paranormal in my head. I actually checked my boobs 2 days before and thought, no, they're fine, there's nothing wrong with them. And then literally the next day I got that phone call, and I thought, oh. So it was really weird, like literally, so it's almost like I felt it coming as well. But obviously because the dream it was breast, I checked my boobs and thought, no, they're fine. Even though I knew what was going off with, obviously, downstairs, so to speak. I knew that was all going off. But the crazy thing was, I kind of knew, but I didn't, because I turned around to my oldest, when I first had the first colposcopy, and I said, by January, I'll have had an hysterectomy. And she said, yeah, but they've said it might not come to that. And I went, no, I'm telling you now, January, I'll have an hysterectomy.
Oh, so you
told me it was cancer.
You had that knowing.
Yeah, because the consultant with the first colposcopy said even if it's not cancer, if you can't get rid of the cells that are precancerous, that's what they do. So at no point up into that point did they say it was cancer. They said they were pre-cancerous, but they could only do 2 lots of removing so much of it before they'd have to take the whole lot away. So I already knew that was going to happen, but obviously I didn't know that cancer was going to happen, even though I was very aware of it at the same time, but in different form. But definitely that dream, it never left. And to be fair, the lady's face never left either. I can picture her now, which could be because she's related to me.
Yeah, I felt so. It feels like a sisterly connection, like I say.
Yeah, because she probably looked more like me than perhaps my other sisters do. She wasn't sort of blonde, but she wasn't dark either. My other sisters have got very dark hair. So I feel like she's probably, verging on my sort of colouring, maybe a bit darker. But yeah. But definitely, I do feel dreams are very valuable in so many ways. They can give you so much information.
Yeah. I'll throw one into the mix here, and I think you can all answer this if you like. You say dreams. Yeah, some of them blatantly are dreams, and you can't remember it. But as I got told everybody else before, and I might share it tonight, actually, my ultimate proof of life continuing. So blatantly obvious, it's ingrained in your mind. I'll throw the question out: is it a dream, or have you been astral travelling into the spirit world?
No. To be fair with you, I always say dream, but I don't believe it was a dream. I do think I did travel because I have experienced a white room in the past, in a almost dream state, not quite getting there, where I've been in a big white room. It tends to be a room when I'm seeing my mum, because my mum died in 2012. And generally, don't get me wrong, she's always around me and she tells me off a lot in my ear, like she did in life, to be fair, even now. But there's been instances where I've just been, just before going to sleep, and I've been in this beautiful white room, and then my mum's just there. And my oldest daughter's had the same thing, where she's also been in a white room and my mum's been there. So it's almost like we travel to her at times, and it's like an intermediate area.
Yeah.
So I do definitely believe.
Yeah. I mean, some of the stuff some of the things you dream, it is a dream, and there's nothing.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes it's just daft rubbish, isn't it? But then even the bits that are just daft bits of rubbish that you just dream can also have a subconscious link in some way to something that you need to deal with in your waking life as well.
Yeah. It's usually the very strong symbolisms within them, isn't there? And
definitely.
If you have a dream diary at the side of your bed, so you don't forget, write them down, then do the research on the internet, and you'll get what the dream's been trying to tell you.
Yeah.
One dream I've had an awful lot, and it's quite an amusing one, but it's in different forms, and I've had it for about a year. But you know what? Just now it stopped, so I think it told me I'm at my destination that they told me I was going to. I used to dream a lot about big houses, massive houses, and I was always exploring different rooms of a house. And it's quite funny talking in this group, especially with what you're doing, everything. But in these dreams, I had it for about a year on and off. It's always a different house, and there was always different floors and different secret rooms that I was going into. And I was always wowed by the different rooms, even though the room looked very ordinary. The rooms always represented like finding something brilliant and magical. And I had that so often over the past year. And every time when I first dreamt it, I thought, what is the significance of dreaming about different rooms and finding hidden rooms? Because it was always hidden as well, in random places, like a random little room off an attic that was concealed by a wall or something.
Yeah.
And reading into that that's representing something in your life, hidden things that you're going to have come into your life that are going to bring you joy, and hidden paths you don't know you've got there at the time that are going to come in. And then obviously it's been crazy since I've been part of this group. I've not had that dream anymore.
Oh,
wow.
Quite crazy. So it's almost like it's linking me to something to come with hidden rooms and exploring different rooms and how I'd feel within the rooms. And then, because I've not had it since, it's quite crazy.
Like a pathway, and you look at it, you go to this.
That's right.
And I kind of found it. I kind of stuff again.
exactly. It's almost like it was guiding me to a path that I was meant to be on, and now I'm on that path. You know, I don't
because
have
you
to
go
have
to
that
different
dream
routes
anymore.
and couldn't find what you were looking for.
Exactly. But then I'd find something I didn't expect, and I'd be really happy, and it'd be wonderfully, you know, the feeling in the dreams were amazing. You know, how I felt walking into a room and finding a hidden something. It was an amazing feeling.
It could even be linked to going into the subconscious mind and having some of those blocks that's just been put up, you know, either by fear or by, you know, whatever. And, you know, those blocks have now been removed. So it could be on that level as well.
It could quite possibly be that, because I do feel, and especially in sort of, well, since December really up until now, I've let go of a lot of old things that didn't serve me, and fears and worries and what have you. So it quite possibly could be that, and that, you know. But I also think that in itself has led me to the path I'm on now, because I'm, you know, I'm a better person for letting go of those things that I was holding on to.
Great.
But I find it interesting what Glynn was just starting to talk about, the astral traveling. You know, I mean, that's a show in itself, isn't it? You know, the fact that when we go to sleep, our soul is actually still connected via our navel, the silver cord, and it goes off traveling into different realms, different universes. And so I'm sure everybody has experienced this at some moment in time. When you do wake up, you either wake up with a jolt, and that's when your spirit, your soul's come in too quick into your body and it's woke you up. Also, you feel more exhausted when you woke up than what you did before you went to bed. And so, you know,
you think know what? I've been astral traveling a lot then recently.
You think you'd feel refreshed, but you wake up like, I can't move my arms, can't move my legs. And so, I think there's a lot.
4 o'clock in the morning. I have that at 4 o'clock in the morning when alarm goes off, mate. I get that feeling on now again.
Yeah, ring into work. Sorry, I can't come in today. I've been astral travelling. I'm a bit poorly.
I'm knackered.
There's congestion.
I've woke up with really, really pain shoulders in the past. You know, I woke up and I thought, I can't move my shoulders, or it's like a bit of a limp on me. And I think, what have I been doing? I've just been to bed, and you know, it makes you wonder now. And I'm thinking, what have I been doing?
Yeah. I think one of the stories you mentioned about, now you mentioned astral travelling, Glynn, I think I mentioned this to you once, when I was doing my development, and I was sort of like continuing on my journey. That's fine. I had it wasn't a dream. It kind of freaked me out in a way, just as I was learning about everything. You just have I could picture it. So I think I astral time traveled, if you like to Victorian times, because I know I was asleep. It was a bizarre thing. You could hear people talking. I could even smell the smells and the fumes and everything like that. And there was 2 gentlemen talking. Must have been the Victorian clothes, top hat and everything like that, and the long coats. They were whispering, and I was sat there watching them for some reason, and then all of a sudden they turned round and this is, what do you think, Glynn? And I suddenly came back.
They can see you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh,
I was
fabulous.
It was fabulous when I thought about it afterwards, but I was just like,
That's incredible.
That's fabulous. That's absolutely fabulous.
They say that there's no such thing as time, don't they? It's just all oneness. It's all happening. Multi-dimensions are happening all at the same time.
I just didn't realise.
That's incredible.
I didn't realise I was alive about 200 years ago. You know what I mean?
Well, I feel all of us on the show here are old souls. You know, we've been here many, many
Absolutely, yeah.
times, and this is just part of our journey. You know, this incarnation that we've got at the moment. I mean, as I'm sure you're aware, when you meet someone that isn't an old soul, they genuinely have
You
a lot
can
more
tell.
energy. They've got no common sense. You know, there's just that sort of
You can just tell.
haphazardness about them, you know, and they're a little bit skitty. And whereas us old souls, we're a little bit more chilled out and like, yeah, man, yeah, you know, chill.
Yeah.
Nothing phases us quite as much, do we? We just kind of, oh,
Yeah.
whatever.
It's like, oh yeah, I've done that before. Yeah.
That's all
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. I
It
mean, I
doesn't
know I've done
matter.
that. Yeah. I mean, I know I did it when I was in the funeral business and the funeral trade, but I don't know. And anybody who's watching this will identify this, and they will say, just for a brief fraction of a second, you know what's going to happen, and yet, hence deja vu. I've done this before, and you seem to just know what's going to happen. And I think, to be fair, go on.
I was going to say, do you find that it's certain? It's either the smell or it's like an object, or there's something that triggers that thought. Like, hold on a minute, I have been here before. I've seen that.
Yeah.
I've seen it exactly. Yeah, something always triggers it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Music's a great one for triggering as well.
Yeah.
Oh, exactly.
Very much so, music.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times have all of us been singing along to a song way before our time?
Yeah.
You know, we possibly wasn't alive in this body when a particular song came out, and yet we could sing along to the words like we know it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. I think for me it's objects.
Yeah.
When I go in the objects, just like, yeah, I know this. And I'm not saying, I mean, anybody who knows me knows how much I love a certain our nearest European neighbour's country, which I'm still hoping to get to, hopefully. But the strange thing was, one time when first time I went across to Ireland and drove round, I actually drove there and I didn't have a sat nav or a map.
Wow. That's impressive.
In certain time, because the sat nav packed up, and I couldn't find the map because it was in the boot. But I actually drove. Yeah, we say we got lost, but actually followed it onto the main road and then found his way back into the town. Like, how did I know that? So perhaps in a previous life,
I utterly believe you was an Irishman in a previous life. I can almost
I've got to
see
be,
it.
haven't I? I've got to be.
You have, absolutely.
Nobody in a normal life can be this nutty.
To be sure.
To be sure.
Half of the morning too, yeah.
That's probably where I get my love of my Irish drink from, then, isn't it?
Guinness. You know what I was thinking about Guinness? You know, if you was talking, I could just imagine you outside a Guinness pub. I really could. Absolutely.
What's that glass?
It's on clear Guinness. Look.
Oh my God, it's a Guinness. Yeah. That's water in there, though.
It's clear Guinness. It's the new product.
Yeah. It's the new non-alcoholic Guinness.
It's holy Guinness. That's what it is. It's holy Guinness.
Oh, hey up, Graeme's joined the party.
You two feel out of place now, don't you?
I don't like the stuff.
It's
not good for the toilet department at all, so I avoid
it. Is.
Oh, I've tried it. I just don't like it. It's a bit. No, it's not for me.
Christina, you probably had a bad Guinness. There's a certain way of pouring Guinness.
No,
yeah, down the sink.
I am with you on that, Glenn. It's horrible stuff. It even smells vile, don't it? It's got a smell to it. Oh no.
I'm glad I brought Ireland up now. We're having a great big argument going off in a minute.
About Guinness. You two can keep your Guinness. You can have my share if you like. I'm not fussed.
That's fine.
Go for a pint.
Yeah. I mean, I'm near Christina, so I can have a Guinness as well. You know what I mean? I will be right. We'll split
you can have my Guinness.
Yeah. But
you can have Glenn's Guinness.
Right. Fair enough.
No. I'm with you, Glenn. It's horrible.
No, I don't like the smell. Don't like the texture.
It smells vile, don't it? It's got like a smell.
It's like Betty's Hot Pot going down from Coronation Street. It's like no, not for me.
Oh, dear.
Do you ever get the feeling we've digressed slightly?
Yeah, just a bit.
So alcohol, a little bit. It's your fault. We're talking about Ireland and.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Next week we'll talk about any beer that we like or wine. You know, any alcohol you like.
Well, I've got a little story to tell. It's not exactly deja vu, but it's almost like a premonition.
Yeah.
And it was before I became a dad, before I became a father, probably about 3 years before that happened. And I remember waking up and it was like in between a dream state and being asleep. And I heard a little girl shouting, "Daddy, Daddy, can I come in yet?" And in this state, I was saying, "No, not yet, darling. We're not ready for you yet. We're not ready for you yet." And she was a little blonde girl, looked like me in the face, but with long blonde hair. I would say in this premonition, she looked about sort of 3 years old. And she was shouting from the bottom of the stairs up the stairs where I was looking down in this premonition. And anyway, a few years later, obviously I had my firstborn, and she does, as you can all probably contest, does look like me.
Doesn't like you.
With hair.
She does.
Yeah. And
she does.
So, that was like, I think that was pre-warning me and getting me used to the idea of becoming a dad, because I always said I wasn't that bothered. And I think at that stage of my life, I wasn't up to the challenge and of that responsibility. So I think that was at some level getting me prepared mentally. And I remember just saying to her in this premonition, "No, I'm sorry, darling, I'm not ready for you yet." And in fact, I wasn't, No. I wasn't at all, but it was
like
so
my
accurate.
Dream. It's not a dream. To me, it was like a warning, wasn't it? Getting you ready.
Yeah, it feels that way. Yeah,
absolutely.
And that's something I've never forgot, because somebody calling you dad when you're not a dad is like, whoa! It scared me a bit, because I remember thinking, what? Somebody calling me dad? Ooh.
Scary thought.
Yeah, that time of life.
Yeah.
But so. Yeah. I would say not deja vu, but like a premonition, a gentle warning.
Yeah, a little nudge.
I've got some table tipping going off there. Somebody will knock it off the table, won't they? Yeah.
Coming in.
Is that how you spoke when in a dream?
What, like that? We're not ready for it.
Yeah.
No, if I spoke like that, I wouldn't be a dad.
No,
right.
I don't think you would,
I was just wondering if that's what put them off for 3 years.
Maybe so, yeah. I do sing quite high, so possibly.
Yeah.
Talking about
go on.
Hearing the words mum or dad, just quickly, I don't want to talk all night, because obviously Graeme's not speaking yet, as
That's fine.
But you just reminded me, Glenn. The other night, it was a couple of nights ago, I was asleep, I was properly asleep. I suddenly woke up because I thought I heard Beck, my oldest, shout, "Mum," just like that. And I woke up, sat bolt upright, and thought, Beck's not in the house tonight.
Wow.
but it sounded just like, and it was my physical ears because it woke me up.
Yeah.
And I thought, next day I said to her, "You didn't come back last night, did you? Because I really thought I heard you, because it literally woke me up. I sat up in bed like, I'm sure she's not here." And she's like, "No, Mum, I didn't come back." I was like, "Oh, must be Nikki then, my daughter in spirit." But I've heard it in my physical ears. It was crazy because I was like, sat up and I thought, she's not here. But it sounded just the same as her. It was crazy.
The thing is, though, when people you can project your thought patterns. So she could have been thinking of you at that moment in time. Did you? Oh, one step ahead.
Yeah, oh yeah, of course I did. Yeah, I said, so at any point did you wake up or did you think about me or think, Mum, or talk about me? She goes, "No, Mum, I didn't, not at all." Because that's what I thought. But same as you, we're linked, because quite often we'll finish each other's sentences and what have you, and she'll just look at me and I'll look at her and I'll know what she's thinking and vice versa. So I thought it was that. So I was like, "Do you think about me at all? Talk about me?" She's like, "No, Mum, not at all." And I'm like, "Oh, all right then." I thought it was you in some manner. It must have been Nikki then, and that were it. Stop talking about it.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, Graeme, did you want to say anything, mate?
What I thought was deja vu, it wasn't deja vu.
Right.
I think I've like premonition, you know?
Yeah, he was having premonitions, precognitive visions, premonitions,
I thought it was deja vu all along, obviously not. And I could, but this one sticks in mind. And going back a long time before we moved to the house where my parents are now. I remember sitting or laying on my side by the door and watching TV. Now, at the time, it was the first time that the BBC had shown Michael Jackson. And a few weeks later, I actually did. I thought, well, I got a nice feeling. I already thought it. See myself do it, which I thought was deja vu, and it's not.
Right.
I think you'd just forgotten the vision that you'd had, didn't you, Graeme? And then you remembered it, so it felt like a deja vu, didn't it?
Yeah.
That's strange.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a freeze there on the stream, Graeme.
Right. How forget?
Well, I think when you was telling us prior to going on air, you were saying that for everybody that's watching this, that you, before Michael Jackson came on the BBC, you had a premonition of him doing, was it Thriller?
Yeah, on
prior
TV.
to
It was
coming on telly.
It was the first time the BBC had shown it, and I actually laid down and sat and watched it on the BBC. This was like about 6 o'clock at night. It was timed in the paper, first time showing Michael Jackson's Thriller, and I remember on the floor watching it. When I actually done it, I had a strange feeling that I'd already been doing what I was doing.
Yeah. You were, perhaps you were an extra in the video, Graeme.
No, I wasn't. I'm not that bad, am I?
That's a cracking video, that is.
Yeah.
Oh, I love doing that dance when it comes on. Oh, that's all and all that. I love it.
Hey, I just noticed, Graeme, you've got the glove on. You've got the MJ glove on. How bizarre!
And now all I can hear in my head is Michael Jackson songs. It's cracking in my head right now. I've got a brilliant one.
Yeah. Go on, Graeme. Just go. Jay, Shamon.
No, you're all right.
So when you went through that then, Graeme, when you experienced that, was it something that triggered that memory that you thought, actually, I've seen this before? Was the music, like Christina was saying about the music triggering things?
Yeah. The vision, I saw in my head, I see myself doing it. Does that make sense?
Right, yeah. So you saw yourself lying on the floor, did you say, and watching it?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Crazy. That's brilliantly crazy.
Way, that
Wonderful.
Yeah, that's like an out-of-body experience, isn't it?
But you saw it ahead of the show coming on, didn't you?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So it's almost like clairvoyance.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Which is wonderful that you got that in the first place, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Great.
There's other that sticks in my mind that we don't know, it just does.
Right.
Well, that's
the one
good,
that I mentioned before the show, where I was doing that, watching share and pressing the button for the numbers. Then I knew exactly what she was wearing. A few weeks later, on site, there she was, and what she was wearing, pushing the button.
Wow.
Oh.
So again, yeah, that's like a premonition, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah,
it is,
unfortunately, there's no numbers.
Yeah, that's fabulous.
Yeah, they never give you the numbers.
No, that's not allowed. We're not allowed to. We're not allowed to profit from these things.
No.
It'd be nice though.
Oh, it would, but we'd all be millionaires, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
But here's an interesting thought. Past lives as well, connected to deja vu. We've already mentioned that there's no such thing as time. It's just all oneness. So it's almost as if everything is predestined. All the lives that we've actually been in, our souls have been in, and all these deja vu experiences, like a replay, where we're remembering the replay that we were shown prior to incarnating into this life that we're living at the moment.
That is fascinating. Yeah, quite possibly couldn't it? Because obviously, when we all come back, we're given the choice whether to come back or whether we don't want to. But we will be given information on our life that we will have when we've taken, this particular body. So it's quite possible. And obviously, when we're actually reborn, all the memories get taken away, apart from little residual bits that are just enough to keep us to meet the people we're meant to meet. But a lot of the stuff we can't remember. So it's quite possible with what you're saying, Glenn, that we could be remembering the information we was given prior to incarnating again and being reborn from the snippets that we was actually shown, like a preview of our life before we accepted it, possibly.
Or could it even be a soul message? So our true soul is like filtering it through, a bit like the internet, how that works with a computer. Our soul is filtering this information through to us, snippet at a time. And we're just like, oh, okay, I remember that.
Yeah, possibly just enough to lead us to where we need to be.
Yeah.
I mean, every time I've been in church, was said when you pass over, you get sat in front of a screen and you're watching your life for again, and then it's both what you just said. You come back to somebody else, and you like relive it again. The step that you do.
Yeah. Interesting. Interesting thoughts, really, aren't they?
Yeah,
they really are. Absolutely.
One has just popped into my head, actually. I thought, unless you're very fortunate, or blatantly good liars. I think everybody's got a phobia about something in life.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I
that's
think so.
interesting. Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
know the theory. Yeah, I think I
same
know
here.
where you're going with this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go on. Do you want to finish it off, or shall I say it?
Go on, you
The
do it.
phobia is. He wants us to do it.
Is that something traumatic that happened in the past
From
life,
your
or
past
how
life
you
that's
passed,
come back to haunt you in this life?
or how you passed that you actually in the previous life?
I've
So
actually
that
heard
is-
of some people actually being born with certain scarring that would actually be in the same position of how they would have died in the first place. But
Yeah.
I do believe that phobias and things that we've got a deep-seated fear for no apparent reason, it's probably because of something that's happened to us in a past life, either something traumatic or something that did actually cause us to pass over.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, our soul's just pure energy, and that just goes continually, doesn't it? It's just our bodies that change. So obviously, what's happened to us, our energy, which is what we basically are in essence, not what we see in front of us. We're going to hold on to some of that. Same as in actual life, if something happens, you're a bit wary of it happening again. Our souls aren't going to be any different, are they?
No.
We've got a good point there.
Yeah.
I think it's
just
interesting how the soul. I've heard that the soul does split. So the same soul is living various lives at the same time as well.
You think you're talking about twin flames? That theory?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
but twin
interesting.
flames were actually meant to be incarnated with 2 heads, 4 arms, and 4 legs, and then apparently how it goes is, or what they say is, they were split into 2 individual people.
Yeah.
And that's why apparently 2 people can come together and be exactly the same as each other. And they've been just split down the middle, and that's apparently why we've got 2 of each. But the theory is that at one point we had 2 heads, 4 arms, and 4 legs.
Right.
And also the other theory is, if you look at your body sort of in the mirror or take a photograph, it won't be perfectly symmetrical, will it? We've always got one side of our face that's slightly different to the other. We're not perfectly the same, are we? And of course, the theory of that is because somebody else out there has got the same other half of you. So you've got 2 different sides. Because everybody will have like.
Poor beggars. That's all I can say.
Because we all got slightly different faces on one side to the other, haven't we? We all have all different.
Definitely.
One hand's slightly bigger than the other, one foot. Obviously not massively, but hopefully not anyway. But yeah, that's the theory on the twin flames. But then that's different to a soul connection altogether, because I've done quite a lot of research into that as well. It's fascinating. But twin flames don't tend to last a lifetime without breakups. They tend to go apart and come back together, because the love of twin flames is meant to be quite ferocious. It burns, but it burns fast and it burns out, and then the 2 people separate again and then come back together again. It's not the same as a soulmate that's meant to be literally your soulmate from another life, so it's a bit different, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I won't go on too much about it, because that could be a different show altogether, couldn't it?
Oh, definitely.
I mean, would you like me to tell you my story about how I found out about that with spirit world being true and that me experience?
Yeah.
I know. I told you to Glenn. Because that sort of like ties in a Deja-vu but astral traveling, and basically, I mean, like everybody, you want your proof. So I was on the weekend at work while I was working at in the funeral business, and I was Saturday and Sundays, and Saturday I came back home and I felt absolutely awful. It was how dreadful that night. I shouldn't really have been gone in on the Sunday, to be fair, but nobody had swapped with me. I don't know why, for some reason. But on that night, I went to bed, and I must have been. I thought I was dreaming anyway, but I came up and I says, "There's a gentleman stood at the side of me in a white coat." I thought, "What are you doing?" Yeah, it's coming. Yeah, it's coming.
Coming to take me away. Ho ho.
Oh, hey. But, yeah, I'm waiting for you to say that.
Well,
Yeah,
someone had to.
So, yeah, I had to come out with a bad one at start, didn't I? So anyway, yeah. So what we're doing here? I says, he said, "Don't worry about it. You're in the spirit hospital." Oh my goodness me!
Wow.
Wow.
He said, "Yeah." I says, "What's going on here?" So I was in this bed. I started panic, and he says, "Don't worry about it. You're not staying. You're just getting some help." Anyway,
God.
yeah. So it gets better. Basically, there was another guy came in at the side of me, and he was screaming. He says, "Oh my God, my legs, my legs!" Said, "What's happened to him?" He says, "It's okay. He's got his legs back. Don't worry about it." So anyway, came back to me, and he says, "It's your time to go now. Go back." So put me in a lift, and anyway, I looked at like a little sheet at the end of this guy's bed, and I got a name, an age. It says passing cancer, and I don't know why. Then I saw I went back in the lift, and then the alarm went off. And I woke up, and I felt a little bit better actually, a lot better that day on the Sunday. So I was sat in the office waiting for the phone to ring. You have to do. Usually that was a boring time. You used to sit there for about 3 hours waiting for the phone. You couldn't actually leave the office. So I used to take my DVD player and everything like that. But anyway, cutting the story short, the phone rang, and I booked it. This gentleman's died yesterday, and it was the same name and the same age. The gentleman had
Sugar. I'm going to say something else there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It gets better as well because I was sat listening to the funeral because I did sort into the chat point. And he'd passed with cancer. And then to top it all off, he'd lost both his legs in a motorbike accident.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Wow.
That's amazing.
It is amazing, isn't it? Oh my God, that's fabulous.
And to me, you cannot get any better than that.
No.
The fact that you got all that detail. Yeah.
Oh my God, that is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, that was a Saturday night, and they booked it in. So is that deja vu, or was I genuinely in the spirit hospital?
I think you were.
I think you, definitely. It was good proof to you as well that you have got a strong connection with spirit.
And you needed to see and hear that at the time, and you had to work on the Sunday. Yeah. The reason you had to work on the Sunday and everyone would swap was because you had to get that call. You had to get the clarification that where you went and what you saw was absolutely bang on right. You had to get that call, so you had to be at work that day. That is absolutely amazing.
I just think it's probably that's the best. Yeah, I'll sell that to anybody who says, "Have you ever had any proof?" Yeah, that's my proof.
That's categorical proof, isn't it? There's no doubt in it at all.
No,
that is amazing.
It is.
That is absolutely wow. That's brilliant.
I find it fascinating that this guy that had passed as well was in the bed at the side of you.
Yeah.
And you could hear him as if he was alive.
Because he got his legs back.
Yeah.
Oh my God, my legs.
But Which also confirms what I've always said to people when they talk about, passing and what have you. I had a lady earlier on, she was talking about her dad having a stroke, and I went, once he's gone, he'll be fine. Any effects for his stroke will no longer be a part of his, he'll be absolutely wonderfully as he was before. And that's just categorical proof right there, because he'd lost his legs. And he was so happy, and you saw him joyous because he got his legs back. I mean, so that's proof on that level as well.
What also is interesting is the other gentleman, like the doctor figure that spoke to you.
That said, "Oh no, you're not staying.
Yeah,
you just need a bit
I mean, what did he look like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen him before?
I don't think I've seen him since, but I wasn't frightened.
Can I just ask you? You're at the time that happened. Was you in a place that you did need some actual help, some spiritual help? Was you in a bad way? Not physically, but
Yeah, I'm not going to go into it because it's personal reasons.
No, of course not. No, definitely not.
Yeah.
But you needed that, didn't you? You needed that. That's one. That's even better, though, isn't it? That's even better.
Yeah.
Because when you needed that, they were there.
Proof.
Yeah, and it's just like, there you go.
Amazing.
Yeah. And since he's...
And what's even more fascinating about this is they could have healed you without taking you there, but they still chose to take you there.
Yeah.
They could have healed you absolutely anywhere, but they took you there because you needed that clarification that what you already knew was right for a start. You needed that proof.
Yeah.
And they gave that.
Plus, at the same time, you got the spiritual healing.
Sorry, say that again, Graeme.
You got your spirit healing from them for your inner self, which is why you felt the following day you felt
a lot better.
Brilliant,
yeah. So I did actually have some heat.
Yeah.
If I saw the guy again, I'd know him.
Oh, right, in the guy that had passed.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, the
guy that spoke to you.
Oh, right, right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd know if I saw him again, I'd know him.
It's almost something like a film, isn't it? That's brilliant. It's so wonderful.
Yeah, it is interesting.
It really is. It is. It's fascinating.
Was it really, really bright in there? Bright light? A bit similar to what Christina was describing.
Right.
That
quite
intermediary.
White.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I couldn't see absolutely everything, but I saw what I needed to see.
You was focusing on the man, weren't you? Because you needed to read everything about him.
Yeah. But I can remember the lift. It's like a lift. Wow. Once the doors closed, it sort of went, well, like whitish, but then that was it. The alarm went off.
And that's when you woke up.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's incredible.
It is. It's absolutely fascinating. Wow, that is brilliant. Yeah. So it's almost like the alarm. It had to be something loud to wake you up from that state.
Yeah.
Sort of like your time is over.
Yeah. But what was interesting about that is normally the alarm makes me jump. But I knew it was ringing, but it didn't sort of like make me jump. I sort of like gradually became awake and then turned it off.
Wow.
I suppose your spiritual body was coming back in.
Yeah.
Into your body and just aligning with your physical body.
Yeah.
But you weren't actually asleep as such, so therefore you didn't have that jolt of waking up.
No. So whether that was the alarm going off was actually the call back, the guidance to come back.
When you said the alarm went off, can I tell you what I saw? I didn't see it as your alarm to get up in the morning. I saw it as a physical alarm of the lift. Like, that's it. It's gone now. Alarm. Like, that's it. Done. You're back. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I saw it like an alarm in the lift. Like, he's on his way back now. You know, move out of the way possibly, or you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I saw it. I didn't see it as your physical alarm clock. I saw it as an alarm in the actual lift. Like, okay, he's got to go back now. You know, he's okay.
Yeah. All right.
His time is done, sort of thing. That's fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's a
Thanks
fantastic way to sort of like. No, you're welcome. I think a fantastic way to finish it off, really.
Brilliant.
Oh, God,
Definitely.
That's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
So, Glenn, has anybody commented this week, or?
Yeah, we've just got the one. We've got a Facebook user saying hi. Hi, Facebook user. We can't see who you are.
Hiya.
Thanks for watching.
Hang on. Jean Johnson.
Oh, hi. You all right, Jean?
Hello.
Yeah.
Bless her.
Hello, Jean. Yeah. Bless
Hello,
you. So, hope you enjoyed it. It feels strange actually doing this, and we've not had a comment from Megan. I don't know if she's out.
Yes, it is unusual that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we're missing you, Megan. Bless you. But no, so thanks everybody again tonight for contributing.
I've enjoyed it.
No problem.
This show doesn't sort of run without you. So thanks for that, and thanks for tuning in, everybody. Next week, I haven't got a clue what we're going to talk about, but we never do. We'll come up with something.
Will it be something good?
Yeah.
Stay
tuned.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Maybe we may have call back. We don't know, but either way, we'll do another show for you. So.
Oh, we've got
Oh.
no hygiene tonight, Glenn. Because Jean comes on my spiritual reading page, and I always say hygiene without realising what I've just said.
Yeah.
So now I try and stop myself from doing that.
It's hygiene.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Say hello, Jean.
Yeah. Bless.
Oh, that's lovely.
So no, thanks everybody for watching. Do appreciate it. So
Thank you.
take care, and we will see you next week.
Well.
So bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.